It's an official welcome from your favorite legacy lady, Cynthia Gallardo, with Legacy and Me podcast. And today I am so excited to have this excellent person with me here today. Professionally and personally, I know her and she is fantastic. So her name is Sherre Reese Hebert, and she is brilliant founder of the Notary Bug. And despite any of her challenges she's gone through with entrepreneurship and also the victories, she has remained solid, centered, and grounded in her journey. So we're here to talk a little bit more about her remarkable journey, her legacy, as to where she was, her story, where she is now, and where she plans to be. So Sherre, thank you so much for joining and being part of this. I'm so excited. You don't even know how excited I am because we've worked together in countless things. And this is all about you today, learning about you. And for those of you listening in Clubhouse, this will also be recorded. The video, we'll also send a transcript to those interested as well. So we'll go ahead and get started for today, Sherre. So I just want you to formally introduce yourself, if you don't mind. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Sherre Reese Hebert, and I am a resident of Lafayette, Louisiana. I have been in the Lafayette area for about 28 years now and just love it. It's a wonderful area, a good place to start a business. Yes. And wonderful people, wonderful food. I love it here. I really do. I've got insurance experience. I've got retail experience. I've got a lot of hats that I have worn in my life, and they have brought me here. So I'm very honored to have this business and have it be so successful. Very grateful.
Yes. And I can tell you, Sherre, you definitely exude the customer service that's required with a business. I know I personally seen it when we work together, but also when you work with other individuals. So thank you so much for sharing that. Oh, yes, you just put yourself in mute real quick. Yeah, go ahead and take yourself off mute so we can hear you in just a second, but you're good. You're good. If not, Norman can ask you to unmute yourself so we can get you on there. And so while we're starting this we're going through, let's all make sure we have the same base or foundation as to what legacy is, because it can mean many things to many people. And in this particular case, you're back, Sherre. Thank you. In this particular case,
I don't know how to unmute my calls. I am so sorry. You can see I'm a very busy girl.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So according to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, legacy is defined as basically the lessons learned and also any assets that somebody can carry on, right, or give to another individual. In this particular case, I like to add in the lessons learned because you have a lot of experience with the different journeys that you've taken in entrepreneurship, Sherre, and then also any of the material assets obviously will be part of that, right? And as you mentioned, you have experience in insurance. That's a part of having a business. So many different things that come into play. So today we're all about hearing about the gems you can share with us about entrepreneurship or your legacy. So what brought you to this point? What's your story? What's your legacy as far as getting to this particular point?
I guess I've always wanted to improve myself. Any job that I've ever been, oh gosh, there's an opportunity for me to learn this. There's an opportunity for me to advance. So probably that's my driving spirit that has brought me where I am. I've always wanted to do better for my bosses, better for the customers and the clients that I serve, always wanting to learn more to help my clients when they ask a question and I would like to know the answer. So I always want to learn.
I love that. That's fantastic, Sherre. And I love that because it's so true. I always compare it to a body of water, right? If we stay stagnant, we start to smell. Nobody wants to smell, right? So we always want to continue learning and advancing his life, as you mentioned. And I'm a strong believer in the KISS theory. A lot of us has heard that, the keep it simple, but I say student because we're all lifelong learners. So keep it simple, student. And I know that's what you do for your clients and those you serve. So that's great. Sherre, one other question with that. I know in your particular case now, you work as a notary with the Notary Bug, and I love your logo, the little bug that you have, right? And it's part of everything you do. What brought you to this point of being a notary? What excited you about it, and what steps did you have to take to get to this point?
I was employed in the insurance business, and I thought that I would like to go one step ahead and get my Series 6. And so I asked my boss, I said, I really want to move a little bit more, learn more. And she said, well, we do have 2 Series 6 people here in the office, me and my son. And why don't you become a notary? So really, I have to give credit to my former boss in leading me in that direction. I thought it would be a very wonderful thing to do for people, to be a notary, to be that person to help them out. So that's how I got started. I have to thank my boss.
Oh, that's fantastic, Sherre, that you had that relationship with your boss and they saw the potential in you to do that and that you took the risk, because not everybody takes that opportunity. So it's great that you did do that.
It is a risk.
Yes, it is. So what did you do? I know there's maybe people listening in today that are interested in taking that form of entrepreneurship, right? Becoming a notary. And I know in Louisiana, we're a little unique because we use the Napoleon Law, right? We're one of the only states that utilize that. But what step did you have to take to get into being a notary in Louisiana?
I did take quite a few classes, and that was before there became a statewide test. So I took a few classes. I did take a test down at a lawyer's office many years ago. And of course, I'm dyslexic. So anyone who has learning disabilities, yes, it is a possibility, even with dyslexia. I'm ADD too. So, but it was a struggle for me to do. And I will say it was about 10 years of studying, taking tests, and I took the test 5 times. I never gave up. I was going to take it a 6th time. Just never give up if that's what your dream is. And that was my dream, to become. I had my business plan already lined up to become a notary. I'm like, now I just have to pass. So, and I did. I'm very glad. I did take several instructors too. So if you don't pass, maybe you need another instructor to help you out with what you're missing that the notary test requires. And that's what I did.
Wow, that's fantastic, Sherre. I didn't know that you had those specific challenges with dyslexia and also ADD. Well, thank you for sharing that, for being authentic, transparent, and sharing that with us. So for those of you listening out there, regardless of your challenges, you may have dyslexia, you may not, you can do this. There is help out there. And look at Sherre. She's a very successful notary in the Louisiana area, and you can do it as well. And I like what you said as well about never giving up, always making sure that you work towards your dream, right? And that's one of the things I talk a lot about I have what's called a legacy zone, or the journey. And you go from your idea. So in this case, you've gone from your idea, becoming a notary, right? And you took the steps. You had that vision in your mind and you saw yourself being that notary, actually putting that stamp on whatever client documents you may have. And then you made it a reality. You took the classes. You made sure that you didn't stop. You kept going forward, regardless of what challenges you faced. And now you have your profitable business. You have your legacy at this particular point. So you've taken that journey from idea to vision to reality to profitable business. And I want to commend you for that, Sherre, despite all the challenges that you may have gone through. So thank you so much. And you also bring up something very important, because you mentioned you didn't do it alone, right? You had the support of your boss, first of all, to encourage you. And that's basically what a consultant, a coach does for individuals as well, right? They encourage somebody to get what they need done. But also you surrounded yourself with people who had done it in the classes, right? Been there and done that. So can you share with us with some other support that you may have had to assist you along the journey as part of your legacy?
Well, and I still have it. I still have these people, I call them my lifelines.
Oh, yes.
And some of them are on that beginning journey of taking the tests. And then some of them, when I joined the Notary Association, Louisiana Notary Association, a very good organization, I had a lot of help from many of the members and officers of that organization to help me out. I do recommend, when you are starting out, to have an organization like that, have someone to help mentor you through this process. because it is a process, and for some it can be very quick. That test may not be as hard, but for others it is going to be a challenge. I was in Alexandria one year taking the test. It was probably my fourth time, and there was a lady there taking it for the 12th, and so she gave me a lot of encouragement to keep going. If she's going to keep trying, I'm going to keep trying. So I was not going to give up.
Well, that's fantastic that you surrounded yourself with individuals who supported you in what you were doing, as well as utilizing the resources available to you. I think sometimes we as entrepreneurs may forget that there's a plethora of resources out there that are free that we can tap into and utilize, especially like associations out there that assist us. So thank you so much for bringing that up. And anybody out there who is practicing or wants to practice being a notary or any type of entrepreneurship, utilize your resources. It is so, so important to be able to do that. So that's great. So as far as where you are now, Sherre, with your business, what would you say are the top 3 things that you love the most about your business? The top 3 things.
Of course, it's always been in my heart to be a service, to be of service to someone, to help someone. So I'm there to help this person with their loan, with their paperwork for the courts, their title work for vehicles. There are so many things that people need a notary for. And a lot of times somebody's like, they get their first document that needs a notary and they're nervous. Oh my God, I had to find a notary. And I try to alleviate their fears and make them feel calm. And I let them know that you're not the first person that has not ever needed a notary till now. Just alleviate their fears. But service is the main thing that I love about my job, is helping people. I really do.
That's fantastic. And I know, as I mentioned before, you do a great job with that, because you're right. When people have legal documents that they need to notarize or make sure that it's done correctly, it can be very nerve-wracking. So I've seen you work with people, and I know you've helped me many times as well, and basically calming people down, being able to work through the process to get to the end goal, right? And that's part of that. I talk a lot about in other podcasts, but also in other aspects about emotional intelligence, and you use your emotional intelligence to be able to work with your clients, your customers. So that's great, Sherre, that you do that. So I definitely encourage you to continue moving forward with that. Anybody on the call, anybody listening in, set your goals, get that in your mind, that idea, the vision, make it a reality. And you have help out there to make sure that it's part of your legacy as you go through. So now that we've talked a little bit about your past, on where you are now as well, Sherre, what are some of your future goals? And what's that vision you have as part of your legacy, whether it be with notary or you want to expand it? What's the case? What's your vision?
Well, when you're very successful, you get very busy. So think about recruiting some more ladybugs, out there to help me with my growing business. I would love to become statewide. I would love to have a notary bug in every parish, someone to help. That would be wonderful to have that type of system in place. I do have a few copycats in other states that have become notary bugs too. So it's wonderful that they have taken my concept and they are doing well with it as well. So great. I'm very pleased that they are doing well as well.
Right. Well, I love the concept. I mean, I know that's one of the first things that attracted me when I saw your little bug car and your logo and everything, and how you're mobile. I know you go directly to the individual, and that's a huge, first of all, people are nervous about it, as you mentioned. And then if you can go to in their environment, it makes it a lot easier for them, more convenient. So that's fantastic. And I love that concept of taking those notary bugs, making them in every parish. I love it. And anything I can do to help with that, please let me know. I definitely want to help you be successful with that vision. That's great. And then also people are utilizing that system, right? Because with any type of business, you always have to have certain systems, processes in place. And in fact, I talk a lot about it in my upcoming book. It's called Business with a Twist, about the 5 S's, which is part of your business DNA. And you're already sharing it with us, right? You have the systems, the strategy, the support, the story. You have your unique story. And then also you want to make sure that you have that strategy in there, right? As you go through. So you have all of that part of that business DNA that makes you unique. And regardless of people using it in other states, Sherry, nobody will be you, because only you are you, right? You're unique to you. Nobody else has that DNA. It's only you have that. So that's awesome, that you can utilize it here in Louisiana. And I'd love to see you carry it into each parish that you mentioned. That's
Well, nationwide too. That would be a great thing to do as well. Never say never.
yes.
You never know when that opportunity could come. Um, I also want to say that probably the main thing for anyone to do is you have to be able to take risks. And that's the main thing in starting a business, is you have to take that risk. And it's going to be slow at first. But just if you're going to be successful, you need that rest time to sit back and just let your business grow. And it will grow one client at a time. I like to focus on that one client, making sure they are taken care of with their appointment, and everything they need done is done. And you guarantee my work. I guarantee my work. If it's not right, if we've missed something, let's go back and we'll do it again.
Yes, I love that, Sherry. And I love how you say grow one client at a time, right? Because especially here in the Louisiana area where we live, everything is referral based, right? And we find that in most industries as well. So once you do a great job the first time, people will carry that on and tell other people about it. So I'm glad that you prioritize it and that hold that as one of the staples of your business. And the other thing is also, I love how you guarantee your work. That's so important. Making sure that if it's not done right, you'll go back and correct it. And nobody's perfect. Nobody is. So just making sure we stay humble and know that, and take steps to correct whatever it needs to be corrected. So that's great. And then also something you highlighted that I know I've seen with many successful entrepreneurs is risk taking. So important. Like when you first started taking the notary test, you had to take a risk, right? Step out of your comfort zone. That's fantastic. So we've heard a lot about your past. Now you're present, where you are now, where you want to be in the future. So I see that growth, just in our discussion here, the growth from that first client all the way to now. And I've been with you when you're helping me. I know you get calls coming in. So thank you for taking the time to be here today with us, because I know you're so busy. Thank you very much. So I would ask you this. We've talked a little bit about some of these gems that you shared already, but if there's somebody coming in as a new entrepreneur, because it's a whole different beast out there when you become your own boss, right? When you become the boss, the CEO of your business, it's liberating, but it can also have its own stressors involved with it. So what would you say what would be the top 3 gems or takeaways that somebody could take from this conversation today and implement immediately in their business?
Well, you're going to work hard. So if you don't like to work hard, this might not be the thing to do, but I love to work hard.
Yes.
I really do. I work 7 days a week. Every now and then I'll take a little break, but I work 7 days a week. I know there'll be a time where I won't be able to do the things that I do. We get old, y'all. I'm not going to be forever. Nothing lasts forever, but I'm very happy to do what I'm doing now. So we'll hope that I can continue.
Okay, that's great. So working hard.
You have to love people, because you are dealing with the public, and you are dealing with all their quirks, their good things, their bad things, and you have to be able to handle them. And you pretty much have to be in charge, because a lot of times they will want to handle the appointment. And I always like to tell everybody, right now I'm the boss, and when I leave, you can be the boss again. But right now I need to be the one to help you through your paperwork and make sure it's done correctly. Otherwise, you'll be calling me again if we don't do it right. And I want to make sure that the paperwork is done correctly. Another thing, if you like traveling. I travel everywhere. I love being outside, especially this time of the year. I travel all over. I get to meet the most amazing people, and find out what they do. That's another thing. You have to be a people person and like to travel.
Okay. I love that. Well, I took notes. I mean, I'm learning so much from you as well, Sherry, and I always do. But I have actually 4 things you shared with us, and I want to make sure I repeat them because they're so important, which is making sure you work hard. That is instrumental. Making sure you love people, being in charge, right? There's a certain time you control that particular appointment. And then also traveling is a key part of what you do as a mobile notary, or with the notary bug. So those are 4 gems that I certainly will take back. I love what you just stated here because I know you're a people person. I am as well. The more I talk to people, the better I feel. So that's what being an entrepreneur is about. You have to build connections, relationships with people. And I think I had shared this with you, but one of my favorite words is synergy. The whole is greater than the individual parts. And that's what an entrepreneur is. That's what it's about, is creating these synergistic relationships where you can work with each other and really move your business forward, move my business forward, and helping other people move their businesses forward. And that's what synergy is about. So I'm so excited that you and I have been able to connect, and that how you connect with other people as well in this business relationship. So thank you so much for that, Sherry. And I know with the notary bug, I love the concept. So how did you come up with that concept with the bug and the just notary bug? Share with me about that. I love it. I love your brand.
Well, taking the notary test was very, very difficult. But I think there were several times where I came very close to passing, and I thought a couple of times I had passed. And so I even put it on Facebook. This was in 2012. You know how your Facebook memories come up. And I said, I think I passed the notary test. One day I'm going to drive a red Volkswagen Beetle and I'm going to be the notary bug. Well, at that time, where I came up with the concept is I had a blue Volkswagen Beetle at the time. And of course, after I passed the test, we became the notary bug with my little blue notary Volkswagen, with my blue Volkswagen Beetle. But until I found that red Volkswagen, that's when my business took off. It really did. So finding that red Beetle, but you can't afford everything you want at first. So you just kind of have to make do with the minimum. And so I did. But if you can do all of those concepts you like and all of that marketing strategy that I had with this concept, go for it. It's just I couldn't do everything at once. So little at a time. Sometimes it's better than doing the whole thing at once. Just so don't stretch your finances too far out there, because you've got to be able to pay your bills and keep your credit up and things like that as well. Have a good.
Exactly. Oh, I love that, Sherry. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I like how you said, because you had spoken about having a business plan in place before, right? And that's what it's about, taking step-by-step action and making sure it's intentional action. So you don't basically blow yourself out of the water. You don't have anywhere to go with that, right? So I have a great friend of mine who always says, when I was overwhelmed and just felt frustrated with something that seemed too large for me, she would always ask me, Cynthia, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. So that's what entrepreneurship is about, taking one step at a time to get to that big goal you have. And it's interesting you say that about your red bug, because that's what caught my attention. So this just goes to show how important marketing is, your brand, making sure it's consistent as you move forward. And I can definitely attest and say that you have done that. So when people think of notary bug, they think of you, right? So when people think of favorite legacy lady, they should think of me or legacy. So it's basically being consistent with that. And did you have something else to add with that?
I just want to tell you, I got my notary commission in 2014. I didn't start being a full-time notary until 2018. So I didn't get my red bug until 2018 as well. So that's in 2018 when I got the red bug, I knew I could do this full time. But until that, I completed my marketing plan.
Right.
My business really didn't take off. So that last step in completing my marketing plan helped. But sometimes you can't afford to do all of those things. So the small steps, just work toward it. You can always tell people, look for me a red Volkswagen, which I did. I had everybody looking for me for a red Volkswagen I could afford there for a while, but we get there.
That's awesome.
Baby steps, baby steps.
That's right. And I love how you highlight that, because you mentioned in 2012 that Facebook memory came up. That's where you had that vision. You wrote it down, because it's so important to write it down, let other people know about your vision so that you make it a reality. And you didn't stop. I mean, 2018, you had that bug, you had that everything in place to really move forward as a full-time job. So that is so amazing. And I know you've definitely expanded, grown since 2018. From 2018 to now, I know you've grown. And how have you been able to work through that growth? Because sometimes we grow so much, it's hard to deal with it. What have you done to be able to balance it all?
Well, I have a wonderful husband who keeps the house pretty much in order. It's a little bit of a chaos because I need to come. He's not a great organizer. I'm the organizer, but at least everything works in it. We've got water, we've got electricity, those kind of things, so yes, he does keep things running in the household. Just like I said, a good support team, a good tax person to help you with taxes,
Yes.
Good insurance company. You've got to have liability. You've got to have your notary liability. I've got several companies that can do that for me. I do stick with one that's really good, so that's important. Just make sure you cover all your bases.
That's fantastic, Sherre. And I'm so glad you brought that up, because having that core team is part of that synergy I talked about. And I'm so glad you brought up accountant, because I agree with you. Any entrepreneur should always have an accountant, somebody they can trust. My personal accountant, I go through the books with her consistently to make sure we're on task, right, towards our goal. That's important. And then also making sure you have your insurance. I have a great insurance person I work with consistently. So making sure those are part of your team. And of course, I'll add this in there, an attorney, since I'm an attorney. So I talk a lot about like trademarking, like with making sure that your brand you talked about is so important, making sure it's trademarked, right? That's part of making sure you have the right people on your team. So, and that's something that I can personally help entrepreneurs with as well, if they need that too, Sherre. So you brought up so many positive things here, Sherre. I don't even know how to contain myself, but the good thing is we're recording it. So we'll be able to get this all laid out. And anybody who wants to go through and, hear it again, you can definitely do so. But we will provide you with a transcript of the conversation, so you can have that documented as well. As as being a notary, me as an attorney, it's so important to have everything documented, so we'll have it documented here for you. But before we close out, Sherre, I want to first of all ask you, are there any last words that you'd like to share with any entrepreneurs that may be listening in today?
Don't give up. Never give up. You're going to have failures, but just look at those failures as a learning experience. And keep going forward. Don't ever be afraid to fail, because that's when you learn. That's right. Then when you have those successes, it's always good to celebrate those too. Maybe a margarita too at your favorite restaurant is good.
I like that. Make sure you invite me, Sherre. I love that concept. Great. That's awesome, Sherre. Well, thank you so much for being here. I know you're a very busy professional, a very busy notary bug. So thank you for taking the time, and I look forward to be able to continue to work with you. And then also anybody who wants to contact Sherre directly, her information will be in the video and also in the transcript as well. So Sherre, once again, thank you so much. I send you a virtual hug. Thank you for being here with us, and you have a fantastic day. All right, you take care.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.